We all know pranayama is something to do with oxygenation of the system, body. Oxygen is very important. Okay. So of course that I will leave it to the experts who are standing over here. So first I would welcome Dr. Ron. Please come over. We will welcome also Dr. Jawali, the most world famous cardiovascular surgeon. I just met Dr. Jawali about 7 to 8 days back, and in my first meeting with him, I'm very honest, I fell in love with him. Because I consider a surgeon to be a messenger of God. I have seen many surgeries of people, families and friends, where the entire family is waiting outside the ICU and they are just waiting for the surgeon to come outside with a green mask and a green uniform to tell them everything is fine. So I really am very grateful to Dr. Jawali today, his wife, who is also a social worker, Dr. Ron's wife, Dr. Ron's daughter, who is also here. Sorry, daughter-in-law. Dr. Ron's son is a neonatal specialist. He just went to the US yesterday, sending me a message that sorry I could not attend. It is very kind of all these specialist people who have gathered over here in a small center like our yoga center. Thank you, sir. Please come, sir. Thank you very much. I also thank all of you to be over here, and I think I will hand over the mic to you to conduct the program as to how you want to and whatever, right? Yeah. You can just explain what is the program.
Yes. Hari Om. Namaste. Good morning. How is your morning? Very nice. Shall we improve our oxygen?
Yes.
Okay, clap.
Yes.
Come on, let's start. Okay. So, we are extremely honored and privileged to announce that we have great esteemed guests with us, Dr. Vivek Jawali and Dr. Ron. Dr. Vivek Jawali has saved so many human lives through his wonderful art of operations. And we all know about him very well. Since 3 days we are discussing about Dr. Vivek Jawali and Dr. Ron only. So everybody knows. Okay. So he is a beautiful example of intelligence and intuition. Intelligence of marveling medical science and intuition of marveling inner science of yoga. So welcome to Dr. Vivek Jawali. incoming scientist from Bhabha Atomic Research Center. We all know that he has worked under Dr. Homi Bhabha. So he is also extreme great personality in his field. And after since last 40 years, if I am not wrong, he is into yoga, isn't it? So he is retired but not at all tired. You can see him. In yoga, we have learned that health and harmony will happen only when each and every cell of the body is harmonized with proper, uniform and harmonious quantity of pranic energy. Doctor is a beautiful blending. He is able to maintain beautiful coordination of body, mind and the breath to achieve health and harmony. So he will enlighten us with some new techniques of pranayama. So he is really ready to show us all the new techniques of pranayama. Sir is very enthusiastic and energetic human being. Welcome, Dr. Ron.
Also, we have got some extremely capable ladies over here. We have Mrs. Jawali. I will request you, madam, to please come. She is a social activist, and she runs a very good apartment. Also, we have Dr. Ron's daughter-in-law. Please come back. Sangeeta Ron, who also is a yoga expert, and as a family, they also have published a book on yoga where she is showing all the asanas. Thank you, ma'am. Behind every man, there is a capable lady. So, I would request Mrs. Ron to please come over here. It has been my privilege. Just 7 days back, Dr. Ron was achieved a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Ministry of Defence. And I have the pleasure of attending it. So, I know Dr. Ron for 36 years, but I have met her for the first time. Thank you, Dr. He is only 17 years old.
So doctor, I told you, no, he is 90 plus, but he corrected me that he is 87. So I will not take your much time. I will hand over mic to Dr. Jawali.
Good morning. Thank you.
Because he will explain so much about pranayama.
It's a pleasure and honor to be here with the ones. His surname Ron is Ron. It's an Alpine Jawali. And they both are very illustrious. I got interested in pranayama before even American. 2002, British Medical Journal. There was an article, very interesting scientific paper from the Birmingham Royal Infirmary by the group of physicians there. And this was a study on the traditional chanting or opera-like singing of the Iliad and Homer verses. And it was supposed to be a very healthy thing to do. So they had tried to group them into chanters and no chanters. people who practice yoga like singing for say 45 minutes of period and more. And over a period of next 2 years, in these two groups, they try to compare what happened to their cardiovascular risk factors. And by the T-square statistical significant study, they showed that there was a definite significant reduction in the cardiovascular risk factors among the chanters. Now, what is the reason for that? Why did this kind of thing happen? Where opera-like singing of this Iliad and Homer actually indulged them into certain meaning insights. And that's why, this paper did not really recognize knowledge that in a country or India, there is a very well-studied structured exercise of breathing methodology called pranayama, which is almost 2,500 years old. And if you look at pranayama, which we're going to now learn and understand, and his knowledge is probably the deepest on this issue in this country. So this is a very well-structured thing which we know for such a long time. So this is a very important aspect of yoga, which is probably this study least understood even by the people who have done their bachelor's and master's and PhD in yoga. So I think your listening to him is going to be of great addition to your bandwidth on yoga. So if we look back at the proven traditional Indian lifestyle, you can see that so many things are being rediscovered scientifically and fed back to us, right to the latest level, like turmeric. So whether it is chanting, whether it is the Brahmakala, whether it is eating before the sunset, everything is being rediscovered. And this has been developed bit by bit over centuries. And we lost it in 1 century. And we are rediscovering it. So the message at large is to back at your own well-established local living. Every 200 kilometers, our food changes, our everything changes. But it's all based on local produce and it's very well balanced. I come from Gulbarga. You come to Gulbarga and eat our food. It is, and you look at it scientifically, it is so well balanced, it's so well, and all the practices of living. So with that brief comment, I don't want to stand for you and Dr. Prahlad and listen to this new addition to your bandwidth on your wholesome knowledge of yoga. Thank you.
So, I would like to give mic to Dr. Ron. He will enlighten us with some more techniques in pranayama. Okay, before that, I would like to honor our first mentor, Dr. Ravi Rao. So, he will also grace this occasion with us.
If you have not been told, there is a huge monograph named Pranayama written by Dr. Jawali. It's available on Amazon. It's co-authored by his son also, Nitin Ron. The first 3 chapters are written by Nitin on neuroscience of pranayama, and rest is written by. So that's available.
So Dr. Ron has written one book on pranayama and its technique. It's a beautiful book. So let's give mic to Dr. Ron, sir.
Start from the sitting position.
So actually we wanted to start with prayer, but prayer, yeah, I think if that's a good plan. Shall we do the prayer first? Mamta?
Close your eyes. Please settle down physically, mentally. Bring your attention on your breath. Deep inhale and deep exhale. Let's get ready for prayer with the Omkars. For Omkars all together, inhale. 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 Let's sing few shlokas as a prayer. Please repeat after me. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha. Tatsaviturvarenyam. Tatsaviturvarenyam. Bhargo devasya dhimahi. Bhargo devasya dhimahi. Dhiyo yo na prachodayat. Dhiyo yo na prachodayat. Vakritunda Mahakaya. Vakritunda Mahakaya. Suryakoti Samaprabha. Suryakoti Samaprabha. Nirvignam Kuru me Deva. Nirvignam Kuru me Deva. Sarvakareshu Sarvada. Sarvakareshu Sarvada. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu. Gurur Maheshwara. Guru Sakshat Parabrahma. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vasudevasutam Devam. Vasudevasutam Devam. Kansacharodamardinam. Kansacharodamardinam. Devaki Paramanandam. Devaki Paramanandam. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. All together. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha. Tatsaviturvarenyam. Bhargo devasya dhimahi. Dhiyo yo na prachodayat. Om Rub your palms together. Make cups of your palms, place it on your eyes. Relax your eyes muscle. Gently spread this warmth on your face, neck, and throughout your body. Massage your body. Rest your palms down, head down. With few blinks, open your eyes and look at your body. Let's be thankful for this beautiful human. Close your eyes, head up. With few blinks, once again, open your eyes.
Good morning. I'm so grateful, wonderful, colorful for the husband and wife. They are so loving, so intelligent, but they have almost sacrificed their own career and other life and all that, and they are devoted to this beautiful yoga. Today we are going to discuss about pranayama, the breathing practices. As you know, we don't have to do for anything for breathing, it's already going on, It is done by the respiratory center at the brain stem by the autonomic nervous system. We don't have to do any effort for breathing. It's automatically going on. And our body's intelligence is so great. It manipulates the breathing depending on the circumstances. As you know, we get energy from two sources. One is the food, other is the breath. You can live for months together without food, but you cannot live even for a few minutes without breath. That is the importance of breath. And breath affects us at all our levels, the physical level, the mental level, the emotional level, and of course the spiritual level. How this wise person within the human being, how he manipulates the breath. Let us see. Our breathing rate is normally about 15 per minute. We inhale, we exhale. On the average, if you count, in 1 minute, we will be about 15 breathing cycles. And every time you inhale, about 500 milliliter of air enters into the lungs. So our normal breathing is about 15 per minute. Supposing you run for half an hour, let us say. What happens then? Your calf muscles are tired, your hamstrings are tired, your both legs are tired, you are fatigued, you cannot run anymore. Then what the wise man within does is he increases the breathing rate. That happens after running for half an hour. And now, this breathing will be, instead of 15 per minute, it will be about 30 per minute, 60 per minute, 100 per minute. It is so high breathing rate, So, you can see now what has happened now. The amount of the air that goes into the lung is tremendously increased now. Instead of 15, we are only breathing 15 times per minute. Now we are taking the air 100 times per minute. That means so much richness of the oxygen in the blood. The oxygen level in the blood increases because per minute ventilation in the lungs has increased so tremendously. And this wise man within, what he does, he gives all this extra oxygen and extra energy only where it is needed. After running for half an hour, let us say, the energy is needed by the legs, it is needed by the calf muscles, it is needed by the hamstrings. So this extra oxygen will be supplied only to these parts where it is needed. Sort of. And what other the nature does, the wise man within, our normal breathing is 15 per minute. When you go to sleep, in deep sleep, we are not aware of our physical body. We are not aware of any, there are no thoughts also. We don't think of yesterdays, we don't think of tomorrow and all that. We are totally in a deep relaxation state. How this state comes? This nature, what it does is, it brings down the breathing rate from 15 per minute to 10 per minute. So that the oxygen level in the blood has become low. No, it cannot maintain, you cannot move your body at all. Oxygen level is so low. And oxygen level is so low that you cannot think also. Because brain needs every thought, every emotion. Brain needs a lot of oxygen. And physical body, if I have to move any part of the body, it requires oxygen, it requires energy. But nature now changes the breathing rate, brings down the breathing rate to 10 per minute. So, such a deep relaxation comes at that time. Now, so this, what the nature is doing, the breathing, it is automatically going on within us. In pranayam, we take it to conscious level. I can change the breathing as I want. This is a conscious breathing, pranayam. Pranayam stands for prana plus ayam. Prana means energy. It's the energy. Ayam means you regulate, you control the energy. How do you control the energy? To control this energy, nature is already controlling the energy. When you are running high and all that, it increases the breathing rate and it uses a lot of energy to the legs. During sleep, it brings down the breathing rate, deep relaxation. So same thing now we can do consciously. We can do it. Makes a big difference. So let us see. Now, I have innovated all these pranayams. Whatever pranayams. I have given it a scientific background to all the pranayams. I have innovated all these pranayams in a different way. For example, this word pranayama was coined by Patanjali 400 years before Christ. His pranayama was not this fast breathing, slow breathing and health and Patanjali never talked of health, healing and things like that. His only purpose was self-realization, go to self-realization, mukti. So he did not talk of like Bhastrika, Kapalbhati, we talk of inhalation, exhalation and all that. He talked only of breath holding, kumbhak. Patanjali's pranayam is only kumbhak, nothing else, That too, he calls it sahaja kumbhak. Not like kumbhak you hold and suffering and all that, Naturally, once you love what is beyond our body and the mind, then naturally you come to that deep relaxation state, And this pranayam uses such a tremendous energy. And Patanjali was teaching this pranayam only to those people who are very noble, whose character is very pure, and who are wonderful people just like you. So, because what happens? Because this pranayam uses so tremendous energy, it can be misused, If I am doing something wrong, I can do that wrong more efficiently, That is why it was restricted to only those people who are very, very pure and things like that. And Patanjali, in his Patanjali Yoga Sutra, if you see, he never talked about the methods of pranayam, how to do kumbhak, he never talked all that. But how many people are interested in the self-realization and all that? Limited, 1 million may be interested in self-realization. So that is why Swatmaram, in his Hatha Yoga Pratipika, in about 1200 AD, he realized that Patanjali Yoga Sutra is kumbhak is not useful for many, many people, Most of the people want to live a healthy life, good family, good earning, want to work hard, think deep and all that type of thing, So then it was Swatmaram, in his Hatha Yoga Pratipika, introduced these pranayams, and he told in detail how to do every pranayam. In fact, he talked all 8 pranayams he talked, Yoga Pratipika, Swatmaram, and he talked only one fast breathing practices, all others are slow breathing practices. That means how to keep the mind calm, how to work in this world when there is a lot of chaos and all that. In that chaos and struggle at personal level, family level, society level, how to stand all that and still perform. To do that, you require that calmness within, So that is why Swatmaram in his Hatha Yoga Pratipika, he talked of a lot of slow breathing pranayam and only one fast breathing pranayam. And in medical, now you see, after Patanjali, after Swatmaram, now the yoga schools, the modern yoga schools, they are now introduced a lot of things for health healing. A lot of emphasis is now given for health and healing, So they talk of Vastrika, fast breathing, inhalation, exhalation, do very, very fast. Then we talk of Kapal. Fast breathing is the energy, as we just now discussed, When you run for a long time, there is oxygen richness and it gives energy. So Vastrika gives you a lot of energy. And there is one, what is known as in Vastrika, there is 50% inhalation, 50% exhalation, and you breathe very, very, very fast. So it gives energy. Then we have got Kapalbhati. You only exhale, 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 exhale. Normally we exhale only 15 times per minute in our normal breathing. Now you are exhaling 100 times per minute you are exhaling. What happens now? You are, compared to our normal thing, you are removing so much carbon dioxide per minute. Which in our normal breathing we don't remove so much carbon dioxide. So what happens now? The carbon dioxide level in the blood goes down now, because you have removed so much carbon dioxide. And once the carbon dioxide level in the blood goes down, a miracle happens to your biochemistry, internal biochemistry. Totally changes when the carbon dioxide level in the blood goes down. What happens is the excessive lactic acid and excessive uric acid, which once they are deposited in the muscles, then we develop all the muscle elasticity we lose, we develop arthritis, abdominal becomes sort of elasticity of the abdominal wall will be lost and things like that. So this Kapalbhati, all that is due to excessive lactic acid, excessive uric acid, and all other toxins. So in Kapalbhati, when you exhale so many times, it doesn't give you any energy, because oxygen, you are breathing, whatever between 2 exhalations, very little oxygen comes. That too passively it goes. You don't actively inhale, you are actively exhaling only, So it's all exhalation. So the purpose of Kapalbhati is detoxification of the whole body. Vastrika is energy, it gives energy, and Kapalbhati detoxifies the whole body and things like that, And then Kumbhak, you see, Kumbhak is my most favorite book, I have developed, I call it as a dynamic Kumbhak. Patanjali's Kumbhak is static Kumbhak. You sit like this and hold the breath, Then miracle happens to our whole thing. What I have developed is, you hold the breath and move the body in various directions. You can jog the stomach like this way, I can jog the stomach this way, I can jog the stomach this way, I can rotate the stomach this way, this way, this way, and all during Kumbhak. Then what happens, the whole chemistry and the science changes. In Kumbhak, you are holding the breath. That means no more fresh air is coming inside. And carbon dioxide also you are not releasing. You are just holding like that. And then now if I start jogging the stomach very, very fast in different directions, now you have created demand for oxygen when oxygen is not available now. Static Kumbhak is just hold like that is okay, Oxygen demand itself is reduced now. But during Kumbhak, when you start, where I can jog the rib cage, I can jog the, like we see clavicular thing and all that, All that if you do during Kumbhak, what happens now? You see, you just have to concentrate. So, first thing that happens is vasodilation and bronchodilation. No, oxygen is not available, right? Because you are holding the breath. And now I am moving it so rapidly like this, it needs a lot of oxygen now. So now the only way, the wise nature, it does something to continue in that state. So what it does, all these blood vessels, they dilate, they increase. So more blood will be able to go to this thing now, so to supply that oxygen. Because oxygen is very limited. Only way you can do is, it has to dilate the blood vessels. So first thing that happens, when you do these dynamic movements during Kumbhak is vasodilation. All the blood vessels will expand, much larger, so that more blood will be able to flow. Whatever that limited oxygen now will be carried by more amount of the blood, so that they will still be able to get that. And then next thing that happens is bronchodilation. Only that air which is in the alveoli, at the ends of the lungs, the little millions of bubbles which are there, that is where our gas exchange takes place to the blood. But that air which is trapped in the mouth, which is trapped in the throat, which is trapped in the trachea, which is trapped in the bronchioli, all that air is useless. It doesn't participate in the exchange. Only that which is in the end of the lungs, only that participates. So now what this nature is so intelligent, So what it does now, it increases the diameter of the bronchus, trachea and everything, so that more air will be able to go to the lung and exchange will take place. So first thing that happens when you do all this dynamic movement during breath holding, so first thing that happens is vasodilation and bronchodilation. And next thing that happens is this brain requires oxygen, but now your breath holding, so oxygen, limited oxygen is going to the brain. So what the nature does now is there are a lot of dormant capillaries in the brain, which in our normal life they are not active. Only the other blood vessels will be there. Now, during the breath holding, what happens is all the dormant capillaries, they become active. So now the brain becomes very, very strong now, And once this dormant capillaries in the brain, they open up, they remain. So now the total supply to the brain is increased tremendously. And now see, another thing that happens is it controls our emotional regulation. During breath holding, when you do these exercises, what happens is, now let us see what happens to the carbon dioxide. Now normally, we exhale the carbon dioxide 15 times per minute, we are removing the carbon dioxide. And now you are moving your various parts of the body to such an extent, the amount of the carbon dioxide that is generated is enormous now. And we are not breathing out because you are breath holding. What happens is, our emotional trauma, many times this emotional trauma happens, when there are destructive emotions like anger, fear, and these various emotions, when they happen, the carbon dioxide level in the blood goes up, That is why when a person is very anxious, worried, and he has a trauma and all that, then hyperventilation takes place. Automatically, because you have to remove the carbon dioxide is generated so much. But now during the breath holding, the carbon dioxide level increase so much, and you are bearing that. You are bearing that high increase in the level of carbon dioxide. That means now we are able to control anger and all that. Whenever there is anger and all these traumas, carbon dioxide level is increasing, immediately we react. If you get angry, you express the anger, either in the form of words or hit and things like that, you know. But now what happens? Now our body is now able to, it adapts itself to high carbon dioxide level. That means we are able to control our anger, emotions, and everything. It's a tremendous thing that happens. Let us see, the whole revolution the biochemistry happens when you are doing breath holding and movement. See, three gases are very important. One is oxygen, carbon dioxide, and nitric oxide. Outside nitric oxide is very, very poisonous, but biogenerated nitric oxide is very important, because without that our blood vessels will not be able to dilate and contract and all that. So nitric oxide is the most important gas that is required for our welfare, you know. And normally this nitric oxide is generated in the epithelial layer of the blood vessels. But now, during the breath holding, the nitric oxide, a lot of clinical studies have been done on this one, because vasodilation has to take place, all the blood vessels have to expand, contract and all that is done only by the nitric oxide now. So nitric oxide production has to increase now, you know. That is next thing that happens. Nitric oxide production in the body increases. And nitric oxide is a very important component of the immunity system. For example, our virus, microorganisms and all that, it attacks. It's a poison, you know. Outside we are exposed to nitric oxide, few minutes we die, you know. It's very poisonous. But this biogeneration of the nitric oxide, it protects us from all our health disorders, especially microorganisms and viruses and things like that. So when I used to give during the COVID time, you know, so most of the viruses then they enter through the nostril, you know. And the density of the blood vessels in the nostril is very, very high. Since it is generated in the epithelium layer of the blood vessels, there is a lot of nitric oxide concentration, you know, in the nasal cavity. So during the COVID time, when this thing enters, it is attacked right there, you know. So nitric oxide is one more very, very important. Now I will be telling more about that when I come to actual demonstration. So then of course, I have developed some specialized practices for deep breathing also I have. So what I will do, because of shortage of time, how much time you will give me?
We have up to 10 o'clock.
Up to 10 o'clock. Okay, fine.
What's the time now?
Huh? Wonderful. Nice. You are so kind. So now what I will do, oh sorry, I need. So what I will do, I will, this Bhastrika, now I will do Bhastrika. Bhastrika means energy, right? You are breathing so fast, you know, 60 per minute, 100 per minute you are breathing. The amount of the air that goes into the lungs is so enormous, there is oxygen richness in the blood. And that when you are jogging on the street, it goes only where it is required. It will go to your legs. But now, what I will do, I will do the Bhastrika with abdominal jogging. Okay? I think I can talk loud enough. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes. I don't need this.
Yes.
Ah, okay, if it can pick up, it can pick up. Yeah, I think your idea is good. So, what I will do now is I will do Bhastrika. See, this Bhastrika is, I have modified the conventional Bhastrika. You know, and a lot of medical studies have been done on that, you know. So now what I will do, you are comfortable in this sitting posture, right?
Yes.
What I am doing is, those people can do on the chair also. But anyway, one
So
workshop
are
you
you
will
ready to
attend.
participate? Yes.
Today you
So
just
the few sessions will go.
Yeah. Today you just grasp the science behind that and understand what this pranayama does. Then when you do the workshop, it will be very effective. Okay? Now I will do, sorry. No. Okay. So now what I will do? I will do Bhastrika. I can jog the various parts of the body now. I can jog the stomach, then I can jog the rib cage, then I can jog the clavicle, like CC relation this one. Then I can jog the glottis, I can jog the mouth, I can jog the nasal cavities, and all that energy of the Bhastrika will now go only to that part of the body which is jogging now. You know? Watch me now, I'll demonstrate this one. I can do this way, then I can jog the stomach upwards and downwards. Then I can jog this way. Then I can jog this way. Then I can jog this way. Then I can jog reciprocally. See now what happens. See now I am breathing 60 times per minute now. So, sorry?
Sir, can you just raise your shirt? That will give a perfect demo. Just like Salman Khan.
So what happens now?
So then you can see perfect.
Yeah. So now what happens now, because I am breathing at such a high rate, the oxygen level in the blood has increased now tremendously. And now that oxygen will be delivered only here. Just like when you are running on the street and the breathing rate increases, that extra oxygen delivered only where that part which is jogging. No, legs are static. They are not doing anything. So they don't need any energy. They don't need any blood supply. What needs energy is stomach. And all this, because I am doing Bhastrika, when I am jogging the stomach, it will go to all those organs which are contained in the abdominal cavity, like the liver, then the kidneys, the large intestine, small intestine, then adrenal glands like pancreas, adrenaline, spleen. It goes to all those components because there is so much of oxygen richness is there. Every cell inside the abdominal cavity will have a bath of the blood, you know. That means so much oxygen will go, so much of energy will go. You know? So that is the advantage of jogging this part. When you are doing Bhastrika, you are jogging the stomach in multiple directions. So all that energy will go to the jogging part, okay? What happens now? What are the physical benefits? All these organs now will start working very, very efficiently. No, every cell in our body is conscious, you know. See, for example, heart, lungs, they are all working for us right from birth up to death. But we have never even cared for them, you know. The moment you put your attention within and start doing all this, every organ will become very happy. You know? They will start cooperating. He will think, I am doing so much for this fellow. This fellow has never even looked at me. No, I am giving a nice blood bath and all that, you know. They all, so like every action we do becomes very efficient because they will start cooperating with us because we are caring for them. Then when I am jogging the stomach, our lower back is also now is also stretching, contracting. So it gives a lot of benefits to the lower back when you are doing abdominal Bhastrika, and the abdominal wall becomes very, very strong. Most of the time, we have disc prolapse and all such things happen because our body weight is all taken by the discs only. But no, actually, our whole body weight is shared by the abdominal wall and the discs. Now, by doing Bhastrika, abdominal Bhastrika, our abdominal wall becomes very strong. It will start sharing the weight. Part of the weight which is transmitted down is now shared by the abdominal wall also. When the abdominal wall is weak, then the discs will be in danger because all the weight has to be taken by the discs. So now this is the way we give energy to all the organs in the abdominal cavity. Now I will jog the rib cage. I will jog the segments of the body. So every organ, every cell is taken care of. Now what we know?
Sir, your mic is in the shirt.
Mic is in the shirt. Do you really need the mic?
No, for the recording.
For
That is for
the
recording.
recording of this.
Thanks.
This mic is for recording.
Oh, okay. So now I have taken care of all the organs in the abdominal cavity, energy. The free cell is given energy. Now I want to take care of this part. So I do Bhastrika at this level now. Once you do this, now again I am breathing at 60 per minute, let us say. So much oxygen is going. Now all that extra oxygen, extra energy will go only there. It will go to the heart, it will go to the lungs. And in between these number of ribs, there are these tissues, So they are also joining now. Every tissue is also stretching, contracting. So all this Bhastrika generated enormous quantity of oxygen is now supplied to only these parts. And when I am jogging like this, the middle pack is also jogging. It's also stretching contracting. So middle pack becomes very strong. And the sternum in the front, all the front muscles, lungs, heart, they all become very happy, They will start cooperating with us, So now I have done the jogging of the abdominal cavity, jogging of this one. Now I can take care of the clavicle, I can jog here. So Sri Ravi Shankar gives this one in his Sudarshan Kriya, he gives this one. So when you do this, so much air is going inside because I am breathing at 75 per minute. All that extra oxygen in the blood will now go only to this clavicle, the hands and all that. All the joints become very powerful. And then upper back is also jogging now when I do that. So it takes care of the upper back. And then most of the time what happens, we don't use the entire part of the lungs. For example, when you are doing abdominal Bhastrika, the lower parts of the lungs, which handles about 2/3 of the air is handled by the lower part of the lungs. So when you are doing abdominal Bhastrika this way and all that, all the lower part of the lungs, every alveoli in the lower part of the lungs becomes very, very active. When I am doing intercostal, it's called intercostal Bhastrika, rib cage. When I am doing this rib cage, middle part of the lungs is taken care of now. When I am doing this clavicular thing in the upper part of the lungs. So by doing this abdominal Bhastrika, intercostal Bhastrika and clavicular Bhastrika, I have taken care of the entire volume of the lungs. So breathing becomes very, very effective. When I give this practice to those who are suffering, I've done a lot of therapy classes I've conducted. Those who are having in the initial stages of asthma and all that, tremendously it helps. So now we have done Bhastrika at abdominal level, at intercostal level, clavicular level. Now we can do it at glottis, I can do the Bhastrika in 6 directions here. Just like abdominal, I can do the jogging in 6 directions. I can do the neck at 6 directions with Bhastrika. This is one, then this is one, then reciprocal. It takes care of all the cervical muscles, neck muscles become very strong, and you have got this here important thyroid, epithyroid is there. Carotid sinus and the carotid vessel is there, that also takes care. You say carotid sinus is a very important thing, which care of the cardiac thing and everything. So you are taking care of not only just the neck muscles, you are taking care of the hormonal balance will take place. Thyroid, epithyroid, carotid sinus. So this here. Then I can jog the mouth. So that do Bhastrika with the mouth. Mouth is very important because there are salivary glands are there on the tongue. And most of the carbohydrate, they get digested in the tongue itself, Proteins and other things, they will require acid for digestion. They will be digested in the stomach. So, by doing this Bhastrika at the mouth level, all our oral cavity here, their functioning is improved. I'll just show you, and then I will explain more about what actually happens. Now I'll be jogging the mouth now, with Bhastrika. So cheeks also will be jogging, So all your facial muscles are taking a lot of blood is supplied to the oxygen, energy is supplied to all the facial muscles. So one is this mouth jogging, take the tongue out. Then one can do cleanse the teeth, tip of the tongue, you touch at the joint of the teeth, then you do the Bhastrika. Then you can roll the tongue back. Then you can jog the throat. Siva Mudra. You will do Siva Mudra like that. So now what happens now? You are breathing 60 times per minute. So much oxygen richness in the blood. No, all that oxygen will not be supplied to any other parts. Because they don't need now. They are quiet. No, this is one which is jogging. So it will supply to the tongue. It will be supplied to the upper palate, lower palate, inside of the cheeks, root of the teeth. It takes care of total health care of the oral mouth, when you do Bhastrika at the mouth level. Now, we have taken care of the abdomen, we have taken care of the rib cage, we have taken care of the clavicle, glottis, mouth. Now, most important thing is nasal cavity. There are two nasal cavities, left nasal cavity and the right nasal cavity. And each of this is a tunnel, Each of this nasal cavity is a tunnel which is about 1/4 inch wide, 1 inch height, 1.5 inch deep. There are turbinates, inside that. And all the air gets filtered when it goes through the turbinates, then goes into. If the outside temperature is low, then this air goes to the turbinates, it gets warmed up, brings up to the lung temperature. Other way, when if outside is hot, it cools at the turbinate and sends the air to the lungs at its correct temperature. You see the wisdom of the body, who has made all this, As Prabhupada says, there is some tremendous power within, which has done over this wonderful design, Everything he knows how to maintain the body. Now this nasal cavity, you see, you can do the Bhastrika with the left nasal cavity, right nasal cavity, and both nasal cavities. Just one. This I can do, then this I can do, then see now what miracle happens with this nasal thing. There are sinus cavities here, when I conduct workshops and all that, many people who are having sinusitis, migraine, they all get solved, because of who are taking care of the individual tissues, muscles, organs, and things like that. Now, this cavity I told 1/4 inch wide, 1 inch height, 1.5 inch deep. Turbinates are there, and these tunnels are connected to the sinus cavity through ostia. This is a thing, it is a vacant, it's empty thing, So when the air is moving at high, normally we don't move the air at such a high velocity. But when you do Bhastrika with the nasal channel, air is moving at such a high velocity. So these sinus cavities, which are connected to this tunnel by this ostia, the tube, most of the time this gets with the mucus. It gets filled with the mucus. Then whatever the air is going through this nasal cavity doesn't communicate to the sinus cavities. Then we get sinusitis, and so many things. Now this high velocity of the air which is moving this one, it drains the ostia and the sinus. All the mucus and sinus. All the sinuses will become very clear, and our functioning of this thing is very much improved. So this I showed you about the Bhastrika in the various parts. There are so many other effects. I will, because of shortage of time, I will not take place. But major thing is, major advantage to the sinus thing. Now I will do Kapalbhati. Now we have energized all the parts of the body. We have energized all the organs in the stomach. We have energized that in the rib cage. We have energized here. We have energized here. We have energized here. We have energized here. Now we have to detoxify. We have to detoxify. Because most of our health disorders are either there is a lack of energy or there is a lot of toxins accumulated in the body. So now I will do the same Kapalbhati in the same segments of the body. Now instead of doing Bhastrika, I will do Kapalbhati while talking. See in Bhastrika it's 50% inhalation, 50% exhalation. In Kapalbhati it is 90% exhalation. Inhalation is very, very little, so it doesn't give any energy. So it's detox. Mainly lactic acid, uric acid, all the muscles, the whole elasticity of all the muscles, back muscles and all that. It's one of the very important thing for arthritis, beginning stage of the arthritis, it helps tremendously. So now I can do same 6 movements while doing Kapalbhati. Then I can go this way. Then I can go this way. Then I can. Now I am only breathing out, breathing out, breathing out. Then I can do this way. Then reciprocal. Now all the organs in the abdominal cavity, they are detoxified. What more do you want? You have done detoxification, you have done energy. Then they will all become very healthy and happy. Now, I can do the Kapalbhati at the intercostal level. Earlier what I did, Bhastrika was 50% inhalation, 50% exhalation. Now I am doing only exhalation, 90% exhalation. Whatever little oxygen goes in between 2 exhalation, whatever air goes, that is it, very little oxygen, but only detox, what we know. So entire all the organs, muscles, tissues, everything you have detoxified. Now I can detoxify this region. Earlier what I did, now what I am doing, because now I am not interested in the energy, it's already Bhastrika has given the energy. Now what I want is detox. So you do only at this level, detoxification at this level. Then I can do the glottis detoxification, all the things here, thyroid, carotid side, all the things which are located here, they all get detoxified. So how I do Kapalbhati by the mouth? This is one. This is the second. So your entire mouth gets detoxified. Then I can detoxify the nasal cavity. Detoxify this region. So I have covered Bhastrika on multiple segments of the body, and I covered Kapalbhati at multiple segments of the body. Now breath holding. I do the same things with breath holding. And you do the same things. For example, I should. You don't have to, like Hatha Yoga, Kumbhak is hold like this thing. But you don't have to do that. Once you start doing meditation and all that, So mentally you can stop the breath. Okay. Now I will do the same thing with breath holding. I will do the same thing whatever we have done for Bhastrika and Kapalbhati. I will do to jog these things. Then vasodilation will happen, lot of nitric oxide production, lots of unbelievable revolution in the biochemistry happens. Very few people understand about importance of breath holding, But recently I have come across 145 pages of clinical study done by one of the Dalai Lama's thing, they teach this thing. Entire whole From that, I have developed various breath holding in various segments of the body. Okay. Now this breath holding, I'll show the same thing. All around, I'm holding the breath. Not generally it is, when you start practicing, it is tough, you know. Body is not used to such hypoxia, it's called hypoxia state, you know. You are creating hypoxia state, very low oxygen state you are creating. And our body's wisdom is so tremendous, you know. Now it learns how to adopt now. See, it knows now that I am doing everything for my own good. So then it starts totally adapting to the low oxygen state. Low oxygen, hypoxia state. Because during breath holding, you are not taking any more oxygen. So oxygen level in the blood has gone down so much. But still, in the breath holding, I am doing this, means I am increasing the demand for the oxygen to such an extent. Now the body plays tricks, you know. It knows how to now increase the oxygen level when actual oxygen is not available. That is where the vasodilation, bronchodilation, nitric oxide production, so that all these blood vessels will increase. See what happens, many times there are a lot of blocks in the blood vessels here. And during the breath holding, when you do the jogging or the various parts, so vasodilation will take place because no oxygen is very limited now. Still oxygen has to be supplied, means only way you can do is you increase the blood velocity, right? And only way you can increase the blood velocity now is to increase the diameter of the blood vessel. So there are many types, there are a lot of abdominal health disorders and all that, you know. So blood flow is not proper, there are blockages in the blood vessels and all that, you know. And because of this dilation and high velocity of the blood which goes to that part, all these blocks get removed. So most of the abdominal disorders like indigestion and whatever you name, you know, so most of them get a lot of benefit when you do this jogging under breath holding. No, I can, the same thing, I can do during breath holding, I can jog the rib cage, intercostal. That's why I call this as, Patanjali is static breath holding. So what happens, you know, when you are in the deepest state of the meditation, in the deepest state of the meditation, your body is like a stone, absolutely no movement, you are sitting just like a stone. So body doesn't need any oxygen, no, it doesn't need any blood flow, and our thoughts are also not there in the deepest state of the meditation. Thoughts are also not there. So brain also doesn't need oxygen. So what the nature does is it brings down. In the deepest state of the meditation, oxygen is not required, blood flow is not required. So it automatically you get surge coma. This is Patanjali surge coma. You know, you are static, but you get transformed. Our egocentric, all worldly activities, our ego which is self-centered, you know. Ego is all the time interested in my people, my family, my money, my property. So all the time thinking about myself, you know. This ego doesn't think about other things and things like that. But when you reduce the oxygen supply to such an extent, the ego now get confused now. What this fellow is doing, there is absolutely no thought, my job is lost, you know. Then it surrenders. Then our unity goes to the universe. Then this self-centered ego close to the universal ego, you know. Then all this selfishness is totally removed. Only innate love and compassion comes. Then your ego goes to universal ego. Then there is no difference between me and you. When it is I am self-centered and all, I think you are different, I am different, I should be better than you. All such selfish thoughts come. But once this self-centered ego surrenders, then there is no difference between me and you. Everybody is same. That is the sort of, that is Patanjali's greatest yoga. That is static kumbhaka. He calls it Savja kumbhaka. You don't have to put any effort. Just make your body still, bring down all the thoughts, then kumbhaka will happen. In the deep just the amount of the air that is required is just to keep the heart fluttering. That's all. Even stethoscope will not be able to record the heartbeat. It will not be able, because blood flow requirement itself is not there. Neither the body nor the mind. The thing is static, sort of thing. So that is Patanjali's. But what I have developed is dynamic combat, dynamic combat. So now whatever we did with Bhastrika, whatever we did with Kapalbhati, now the same thing, various same segments of the body. Now you are addressing when breath holding. Now I can do the same clavicle during breath holding. Then mouth you cannot do that, because you can do it, but you have to do it privately, because you are sometimes this thing, face gets distorted with this. So these are the breath holding. So we covered a little bit about the Bhastrika, all segments of the body. So energy giving to all segments of the body. Then we covered Kapalbhati, all segments of the body. Every organ, every cell is taken care of. Then we did the breath holding, all segments of the body. Now I'll spend a bit time about the slow breathing practices. Slow breathing practices is not for neither for detox, not for energy. It is meant for deep relaxation. So lots of things happen during the deep relaxation. Our brain gets all the hormonal things which are very active and dissipated during our waking state. The brain and everything get restored. All those our internal working mechanism, they all get restored during the deep sleep. So that's why sleep is so important. So what the nature does now, it has to bring down the oxygen level in order to make the body still. To move the body, it requires oxygen. To make the body still like in sleep, it has to bring down the oxygen level. So the first thing that happens is, instead of 15 per minute, it now comes down to 10 per minute. And then in all the deep breathing practices, we can come to 1 per minute. You can go much deeper than during the sleep. The deep relaxation which you get during the slow breathing practices, is much deeper than what you get in the sleep. What happens during the sleep? There are some nerves, which are very active. Because during the sleep, some emergency, your house is on fire, let us say, then immediately you have to run and all that. So there are some nerves. They want to protect us, So all these few nerves are still active, monitoring your environment, monitoring other things and all that. So that rest is not that deep. But in meditation, sleep is brought by the subconscious. You don't have to do anything. The whole nature itself brings down the breathing rate and you get good sleep. So in pranayama, you are doing everything consciously. So first you go to 10 per minute, then you can go to 5 per minute, 1 per minute, 1 in 10 per minute. Breathing is almost nil, That is the state of where the pranayama and the meditation. There is not much difference between the pranayama and the Hatha Yoga Pratipika or Patanjali Yoga Sutra, if you see, ultimately the purpose of both the pranayama and meditation is the same, to take you to that higher state of self-realization, things like that. In fact, one astounding statement which Patanjali makes is, the whole purpose of pranayama is to get to breath holding, is to get the kumbhak. He says, getting the kumbhak is the main purpose of pranayama. Patanjali has gone to that level, So there is not much difference between meditation and slow breathing. Now I will tell you, what is this? All these breathing practices, you do this left nostril breathing, right nostril breathing, like, Anulom Vilom, for example. Anulom Vilom. You breathe with the left nostril. See, these are not slow breathing pranayams, Like Bhastrika, Kapalbhati, very, very fast. Our normal breathing is 15 per minute, you go to 60 per minute, 100 per minute, 120 per minute. Tremendous energy it can give, So, whereas in this pranayam, like Kapalbhati and Bhastrika, where you are increasing. So, no, let us say what happens now, alternative nostril breathing. Why we do alternative nostril breathing? Alternative nostril breathing is very important. When you breathe with the left nostril, our left part of the body gets activated and right side of the brain gets activated. When you are breathing with the right nostril, right part of the body gets activated, left brain. In Anuloma Viloma body, no? So left brain is getting activated, right brain, left brain, right brain. But I have developed a pranayam where not only left brain, not only right brain, both the brains, coordination is also very important. So this pranayam is very interesting, you know. B.K. Sengar, you must have heard of B.K. Sengar. B.K. Sengar was very sick, you know, when he was a child. Doctors have said he is not going to live more than a few years. And B.K. Sengar's sister was married to Krishnamacharya. He was another great yogi, Krishnamacharya. So, B.K. Sengar's sister tells her husband, Krishnamacharya, please do something for my brother, he is very sick and he is not going to live long and all that. Please do something for him. And Krishnamacharya has a lot of arrogance, arrogance and all that. Unless he comes and touches my feet, I will not tell him anything. And B.K. Sengar also equally arrogant. He says, why I should touch his feet? I will not touch him. Like that. Both were opposite sides of the poles, Then the sister gets very much worried, She says, now I will fast her to death. She starts fasting. 10 days she fasts, She becomes very weak and all that. Then B.K. Sengar gets worried, what will happen to my sister and all. Then he goes and touches Krishnamacharya. Then Krishnamacharya brought him some beautiful pranayams, which not only changed his health, he became one of the world yoga teacher. He became. That is the power of the yoga, asana, pranayam, meditation. All the things you have to do, not just one thing, because all are serving different purposes. There are some pranayams which are totally, for example, Swami Kovalyananda was, in Yoga Pradipika, they discuss one pranayam which is known as a Plavini pranayam. In the Plavini pranayam, you breathe with the mouth and then all the air goes into the stomach, like a drum it comes up. Very few people are able to do that. Kovalyananda, Lonawala, he has a big ashram, So he used to do this Plavini pranayam. So, but Plavini is almost lost, abdominal wall becomes strong. All the air, instead of going into the lungs, it will go into the stomach. That is Plavini pranayam, discussed by Swatma Ram in his Hatha Yoga Pradipika. And that is almost lost now, It has some value. So now we are discussing, I'm very lost because so many thoughts are crowding me, I'm not able to decide what I should convey to you. So please forgive me.
Sir, we will organize workshop.
It's okay, you are able to understand. So there may be a little bit disconnectivity in my thinking and all that. So now, as you know, it activates the right brain, left brain. Then again, right brain, left brain. It goes like that. Now, what I have developed is I call it Anuloma pranayam, not Anuloma Viloma pranayam. In this pranayam, you breathe in by both the nostrils, breathe out by left nostril, and again breathe in by both the nostrils, again breathe out by this side. Breathing in, see, in Anuloma Viloma, you are not breathing with both the nostrils, you are breathing with alternative nostril only. Here, you are breathing in by both the nostrils, breathing out with the alternative. Watch me. Only 1 second. So, what happens here you will now see. When you breathe in with both the nostrils, your entire body is activated and both the sides of the brain are activated. And when you breathe with the left nostril, right side of the body, right nostril, left side of the body. So, in this pranayam, which I call Anuloma pranayam, it is not only working of the left hemisphere of the brain and the right hemisphere of the brain, coordination of the brain is happening. And now, so this is Anuloma Viloma is also equally So in this Anuloma Pranayam, you are bringing not only alternative nostril, both the nostrils also you are bringing. And now I want to talk of one pranayam which you all know as a Brahmari pranayam. It's a tremendous, lot of clinical studies have been done on Brahmari pranayam. When you do Brahmari pranayam with the humming sound, nitric oxide production increases by 20 to 25%. And nitric oxide is, as we discussed before, it's a very important component of the immunity, We get health disorders and all that. We recover very fast because immunity is very powerful, nitric oxide production. And all other advantages of the nitric oxide, emotional regulation, all those things will happen. So Bhastrika pranayam is very important. So I do the same Anulom pranayam, or even you can do Anulom Vilom pranayam. First you do Anulom Vilom pranayam as it is. Breathe in from the left nostril, breathe out from the right nostril, breathe in from the right, breathe out from the left. That's what you do in Anulom, right? Now, same thing you can do in one round. One round means maybe 10 minutes you can do Anulom Vilom as it is without Brahmari. Then next 10 minutes you can do it humming sound. For example, I show you Anulom Vilom with Brahmari. Breathing in you do normal, breathing out you produce the Brahmari. This sound is a tremendous thing, Our body, as you know, it works on the quantum energy. All the Newtonian thing is all gone, Our basic thing is the energy which is behind us, So it is in this Brahmari pranayam, every cell has got a receptor which receives this sound, That is why music and all that. You go to deep music, you get into this deep state of meditation. And there are no thoughts and all that. You are just that music is playing tremendously. So in Brahmari, same thing happens. Once you do this pranayam with the Brahmari, not only it does tremendous for the health care, it quietens all your thoughts and all that. See, in all this meditation, this is the principle of meditation adopted here. What happens in our normal working, all the time our mind is wandering. Either it's going to the past or it's going to the future. All the past things, which are, there may be a lot of sorrowful things in the past, all that has gone, it has no relevance today, but our mind brings back. Again we think of the past, again we are worried of the future has not come. We worry what will happen, will I succeed, will my bank balance go? So many such thoughts will start coming because all the time mind is wandering and things like that. But in Brahmari pranayam, what happens is all these wandering thoughts, they come to one point. They get anchored to the sound of the breath, tremendous. All the thoughts deep. So it's one of the greatest vegetation taking thing. Thought control. So one can, and similarly, this Anulom Vilom, if you are doing Anulom Vilom, one should do Anulom Vilom as it is, continuous breathing in left, right, like this. And then second one is you do the same thing for another 10 minutes with Brahmari. Third one, you do the same thing with breath holding, kumbhak. Inhalation, Antara kumbhak. Then exhalation, by kumbhak. Of course, in kumbhak you have to do Mula Bandh, Udyan Bandh, Jalandhar Bandh. But once one is doing for a short time, we don't have to bother all that. If your kumbhak is going to be 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5, the world record for kumbhak is 22 minutes. If you go to the Guinness World Record, those free divers, they take one breath, remain under the water for 22 minutes. This is the record of this thing. At that time, you are moving your legs and all that, So from that principle, I developed this breath holding and moving various segments of the body. And 22 minutes you are doing kumbhak, and only your legs and stairs you are doing. And there have been quite a few analyses. When you do that, what happens to your biochemistry? Total changes, Body is not used to these kumbhaks. when you are inhaling and exhaling, the diaphragm is all the time making this oscillation. So inhale, our nature what it does. Nitric oxide is very important. Nitric oxide has to be generated. So it gets generated in the small pause between the inhalation and exhalation. Similarly, after because now when you inhale, diaphragm is going down. Now when you exhale, it has to reverse and start coming up. So small gap is required. Before this is going down, it has to stop, then start moving here. So in that small gap, nitric oxide gets generated. In pranayama, we are extending that into a kumbhak. So it's called a natural kumbhak. Natural kumbhak in our breathing is pause between inhalation and exhalation, and pause between exhalation and inhalation. In kumbhak, in pranayamic kumbhak, we are extending this pause to 30 seconds, 40 seconds, 15 seconds. One has to start with slowly, slowly. At small kumbhaks, like you wait 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 45 seconds is more enough. It does a lot of revolution within the inside. So I was talking about this slow breathing, but of course there are many slow breathing patients. If you want to ask me any questions, because now all the time I'm only. We can discuss maybe. Maybe next time if there is a chance and if see others, then we can have a workshop there.
If you have any question, you may ask. I think mic is not required.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, you are continuing?
No, sir, only
Okay,
Anulom
okay.
Pranayama.
So similarly, that Anulom Pranayama is a very, very important. In my book, I have a lot of importance to that. So in Anulom Pranayama also you can do Anulom Pranayama, general Anulom Pranayama, and then Anulom Pranayama with Brahmani, then Anulom Pranayama with Kumbhak. I'll show you. Because this pranayama thing is very difficult, because sound of the breath you have to hear, slow breathing. See, that is why in all these pranayams, when I conduct on Zoom and things like that, in the studio they have very powerful thing they put right here, So you will hear the inhalation sound, exhalation sound, and when you stopping also you can see absolutely sound going. So this see asanas very easy to do on Zoom and teach and all that. Meditation you can do on Zoom and teach, but pranayama is very difficult because you have to hear the sound of the breath. Otherwise, slow breathing pranayama, you won't know what I am doing. So in this Anulom, I'll just show you one round without kumbhak and without primary sound. Is you breathe in with both the nostrils and breathe out with left nostril. Again breathe in with both the nostrils and breathe out with one. This is just normal breathing. Now I do same with Brahmari. Brahmari is very, 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 very important. It does tremendous, especially nitric oxide. Now I do the same Anulom Pranayama with Brahmari. So the same pranayama with kumbhak. Since I do it for a short time, I don't have to do all these bandhas, You don't have to do. If you go for more than a minute, one you have to be careful. Otherwise, what happens, When see there are two types of kumbhak. One is antar kumbhak and bahy kumbhak. When his lungs is full, you hold the breath. Then what has happened? There is so much air in the lungs. There is a tremendous pressure coming on the diaphragm, and now that pressure is transmitted to all the organs in the abdominal cavity. then you may disturb the functioning of the abdominal organs, you know. That is why you have to do moolaband. That means you lift it up. That downward force which is coming on the abdominal cavity, you put the reverse force by doing moolaband. Then udyanband is again you push it down from this side. Then jalandharband. Because what happens when your lungs is full of the air, that high pressure may be transmitted to the brain. Similarly, when you do Vaya Kumbhak, there is a low pressure, that will be again transmitted to the base of the brain. That is where you have to do the Jalandharband. Moolaband, Udyanband, Jalandharband. But these we have to do only when you are doing this Kumbhak for a long time. But when you are talking of Kumbhak for a short, like 30 seconds, 45 seconds, those are enough to take care of our health system and all that. We don't have to break the record and all that, you know. So we are interested in having a good sharp brain and things like that, you know. And we should be able to, emotional regulation is very important, because so much chaos in the world around everywhere, you know. But in spite of that, you have to continue work with efficient, you have to continue and all that. So it is very, very important. So all these pranayam work at different levels. I'm sorry, I don't know whether I answered you. You asked something, this is something.
No, she got that.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Only question. Oh.
So we talking about Asan Siddhi in Swatparam. So Asan Siddhi is called as a prerequisite for pranayam. As per your experience, does this really matter, or which asana is actually good for?
Yeah. Asana is very, very important, you know. And I know.
So my question is, for a good pranayam position, actually, the asana is very important, and then a lot of scripts talk about asana siddhi. So it talks about, you know, at least 3 hours you must have the asana siddhi before you reach, you know, that's a prerequisite to reach a prime position in pranayam.
Yeah.
So how important is that, and which asana you think is the best, and is it really important to go for asana?
So asana is very important because in all these, whether it is pranayama or in meditation, your multiple columns should straight in. But totally perpendicular, it has to be perpendicular. So if your body is bent like this, sorry. So if your body is some abnormalities in the various directions and all that, then you will not be able to do efficient pranayama and meditation. But it is not a must, because you can even sitting on the, you don't have to sit in siddhasana. What I am sitting, there are 3 asanas you can do any of these practices. One is sukhasana, other one is padmasana, third one is the siddhasana. Siddhasana is actually better than padmasana, because in siddhasana, this heel, you know, it touches at the perineum. Perineum is a very important organ. If you see the beginning of the life, when the life started, this brain was not there, you know. At that time, this lowermost perineum, you know, that was acting as a brain. It was supposed to be a gland, you know. Perineum is the gland. And slowly, as this our brain developed and all that, that lost its function. So, in all this asana, when you do this particular asana, you bring back that perineum into the action, which has to, as per the historical thing, it plays a very, very important. So one of the purposes when you are sitting, you have to press that perineum, you know, and then do the things. Then that also becomes very active. So this asana, but those who are having some health problems and all that, you can sit on the chair and you can do. So ultimately, in meditation, it's only the thought control. In any position you can do, you know. But normally sleeping and all, when you do, you are likely to go to sleep, you know. In meditation, many people I found, you know, they go to sleep, you know, they start snoring and all that. That is not the purpose of meditation. Purpose of the meditation is to remain awake all the time and find out what is happening within you. Then all your attention, mind is all the time either going to the past or the future. Now the mind will start, you put the mind within your body. Then it's entirely, our mind is never used to finding out what is happening within, Once you direct the mind towards your inside, then your whole mind starts discovering what is happening within and all that. That is a flavor. So meditation, asana is not very important. And this pranayama also, if one cannot do, then not necessarily can do. But asana is very important because you have to take care of the body, the mind, the emotions, everything. So I've seen a lot of these self-realized people, they are carried on a stretcher by their disciples and all that kind of thing. Because many of these big yogis, they don't care for the body. Then they are all the time dependent on others and sort of, it is, in a way it is incomplete, because they are all the time not in that self-realized state, when you are acting in the world, you have to recognize people, call them names and interact and things like that, So that you are all doing in the waking state, So one has to be very careful that during meditation you should not go to sleep. Because sleep gives a lot of pleasure, And thought control is very, very difficult. Initially you have to put a lot of effort. That is why sitting is very, very important. In one position in meditation, you have to sit together for hours together. To get to that, many times this asana is important. Bending the body in sideward, backward, forward. Every day I do 1 hour of asana. I do 2 hours of, 6 hours of practice every day. And all my books I have, all the thoughts come to me during my meditations. So I do 1 hour of asana, 2 hours of pranayama, 3 hours of meditation I do.
Addressing this question both Dr. Ron and Dr. Jawali. I've heard about pranayama practice helping a lot of health issues. About this heart palpitations, like when the heart rate goes up beyond when you do an activity like playing a sport or something like that. Is there a pranayama which will help contain that? As a regular practice, will it help bring down the heart rate, which is a high heart rate, or palpitations? Will it come down?
See what happens. The heart, if you have got hypertension or some such heart problems, what you have to do is you have to give deep rest to the heart, right? So you have to bring down your breathing rate, slow breathing practice. With that time you should not do Bhastrika, Kapalbhati, Kapalbhati a little bit is okay. But if you have got high blood pressure and some heart problem and all that, you should never do Bhastrika. That will cause a lot of more problems, So you can do a little bit of Kapalbhati practice and all these slow breathing practices, Once you are doing these slow breathing practices, so you get much deeper than what you get in the sleep. The heart also, which is working, hypertension is working all the time, So you get it deep rest, all the slow breathing pranayama and meditation. Those two. So thoughts, all the time, thoughts is a tremendous stress creator. Because we think of the past and the future, which has never come into the present. Present is the only thing most important. That is why in meditation, pranayama meditation is very important. Breath is always at the present time. There is nothing like breath of the past or breath of the future. If you are normal breathing is automatically going on. Just put your attention on the sound of the breath, internal sound of the breath. That is one of the greatest pranayama. And that will do, but that will bring tremendous relaxation and rest to the thought control. Whether it is a physical trauma or mental trauma, all those things are reduced to a great extent when doing slow breathing pranayama and meditation.
You asked the question on palpitation. It is fast heart rate. Low heart rate is a separate chapter. Fast heart rate can happen to somebody palpitation, either which is functional, psychological, or organic, a disease. So if you have an anxiety disorder, your catecholamines, your adrenaline, noradrenaline, dopamine, etc. gets high. And they have a chronotropic effect, that they will kick the heart into faster heart rate. And also tighten the smooth muscle vessels where the arterial lumens will be tightened and blood pressure will happen. So in these cases, calming your mind, whether it is due to drugs, whether it is due to counseling, but pranayama, what he told you, can calm your mind, can get you into meditative state, can reduce your catecholamines. And a functional tachyarrhythmia can be managed by pranayama, applied pranayama, maybe the avloms and lom avloms, etc., and meditations. Organic tachyarrhythmias. How do your heart function and beat rhythmically? The brain doesn't have time to attend to your heart so many times. So there is a heart's own brain on this right upper corner. It's called the sinoatrial node. You cannot differentiate it, just looks like muscle. But it has a differentiated function and it keeps on giving you the impulses regularly. And if that is damaged, we put pacemaker to do that job. That impulse spreads through the heart by a very complicated wiring. The wires are called the Purkinje's fibers, like the wiring of this building. And if there is some disease or a heart attack has come and a scarring has happened, or some viral infection happened and inflammatory of the heart muscle happened, and some scarring happened, or there is some degenerative disease like degenerative disease of the disc and the disc prolapses because it becomes degenerative, some degenerative disease inside, then what happens is you may have short circuit points in this wiring. The short circuit points happen, then your heart may beat erratically and fast there, regularly fast or irregularly irregular, supraventricular or atrial. The upper two chambers are called atrial. If the rhythm disorder is there, you may get atrial fibrillation and there could be irregular heart rate, where there could be stagnant zones, clots can form, they can go to your brain and cause bad strokes and paralysis. The ventricular tachyarrhythmia, which are in the ventricular, the wires, the wiring in the ventricular side, if it gets into this kind of then that can be very dangerous. And they can kick the heart into such a bad fibrillation that there will be no ejection of blood, and your brain, your all organs are beat to beat dependent on nutrition and oxygen coming. And if it doesn't stop for 3-4 minutes, you may die suddenly, unexpected, unwarranted death. These kind of things have to be treated either by medicines, and if something is really bad, there are certain diseases, I will not bore you with that, but if there are certain bad points which are mono or double, and they can be diagnosed by electrical mapping of the heart, just like cardiac catheterization. And the mapping shows that there are some dangerous spots like that. They can be soldered, they can be burned by ablation, and you can be cured. So this is how one approaches to fast heart rates.
Isn't it so informative? Can we have a big applaud to both I would like to use these opportunities to give some certificates of teacher training course which we are conducting through these dignities. We'll give the certificates to our teacher training yoga shishyas from these dignities. So team, please help. I think certificates we have kept here and there. Sir, please come and hand over certificates. Let me tell you, we are affiliated to Swami Vivekananda Yoga University, and sir is also very much aware with that university and he knows about Dr. Nagendra and Dr. Nagaratna Didi also, their contribution towards yoga to unite inner science of yoga and external science of medical science. So we are affiliated to them. So sir will give certificates. Soumya B. Kasturi.
Praveen K. Praveen K. Manasa N. Manasa N. Swati Bhuvaneshwari. Swati Bhuvaneshwari. Absent. Sujita Challa. Akshata Unapache. Akshata Unapache. Sushmita Das. Megha Ghosh. S. Kavita. S. Kavita.
At this moment, I would like to take the opportunity to honor our teachers also. We have teachers, they are with us since more than 10 years. So, some of the teachers, we will honor them with certificate. B.S. Priyavadana. I would request Dr. Jawali to come and honor them. She is with us more than 10 years. She is giving her service to teach the students, to make teachers. She is making students into teachers in the field of yoga. Then second is our Mamta Manoria. She is with us more than 10 years. Ravi Srinivas Jayanti. He has done MSc in yoga with Swami Vivekananda Yoga University. Sanjana is absent. She is absent. Then we have some of the new teachers. They are also doing marvel as far as teaching is concerned at our institute. One of them is Jayapriya. Nandini. Deepti. Anita. Sudha Rani. Sudha Rani. Tipeshi Matada. Shubha Smita. And our most dear
Shubha Smita is there.
Shiv Prasad. Ever since we have started, he is with us. All sorts of service. Whether it is academical or clerical or anything, he is always with us. So, I would like to give mic to Vivek Jawali, Doctor.
All yours. It's something from the heart, because you are the heart man.
I think everybody knows there's so much of bombardment from media, so I really don't have to tell you all about the lifestyle. So, but I just revisit what I was talking, that revisit the Indian way of living, which is being rediscovered, and everything that you learned in your childhood was actually good, and don't spoil it. And it has been learned by us over centuries bit by bit, and we damaged it in 1 century. I think time that we rediscover, and apart from us, teach our children and bring them up in that tradition, which is more important. And our past has been actually very brilliant, which we have forgotten, and why we forgot everything, everybody knows about that. I'll give an example, because I can speak with authority, because it's my own fraternity. Surgery, what we know surgery as surgery is about 150 years old, maybe 175 years old. But if you look at the history of India, if some of you ever go to Melbourne, ask them where is the Royal College of Surgeons head office is. Go to the Royal College of Surgeons, a very swanky place, enter, and there is a large open area open to sky, and the offices are radial. In the center, there is a statue, and it's a very Indian looking face. You go near and read, the scripture says, Sushruta, the father of surgery. When did Sushruta live? Sushruta lived 800 years before Christ. You know how old is that? He lived in Kashi, today's Varanasi. And Sushruta developed so many techniques in surgery, which goes about 350. He designed almost 1200 surgical instruments. He described and classified fractures and injuries, and by the classification taught how they can be treated and they can be fixed. Those days, one of the common punishment was to cut somebody's nose, so that all his life he will be known and disgraced that he did something wrong, or cut the ears, especially for women. And so he came up with the plastic surgery, where he would take a piece of bone and he would put there, take a flap of skin from the forehead with the blood supply intact. And today we call that as rhinoplasty. This nose job, even today, is called as the Indian nose job. And not much had changed in how you fix the nose today. This was 800 years before Christ. He also did reconstruction of the ear pinna, and so on and so forth. If you go to Google or internet or AI and look over. And luckily, I mean, he was a great teacher. The anatomy dissection, as we know, to teach surgery, etc., is very, very recent. In those days, he insisted that whomever he taught, they should dissect the dead bodies or take big fruits like pumpkin, etc. And on that, he taught them incisions, etc. So the teaching also he had taken to a different level. Today, all the medical students take Hippocratic oath. But the Sushruta's oath was more complete, and India has completely forgotten Sushruta's oath. None of the medical students even know about the existence of Sushruta. It's not taught in the textbooks of surgery in India or textbook of medicine at large in India. I'm talking about one, then there is Charaka, there is so much. You heard about Patanjali, these are real people. How do we know Sushruta was real? Sushruta wrote the entire treatise on palm leaves, and somehow miraculously the Sushruta Yuta entire stack survived all the fires and all the damages that were done by the invaders. And this Sushruta Samhita, for the first time, was translated in Latin and then in German. And those people actually spread the knowledge. Many of them took it and put it on their own name. Some of the instruments that Sushruta created, there are a couple of examples I can give you, which have survived 3,000 years. He had a bone-holding forceps. He called it Simhamukhi. Simha is Simha, lion, and Mukha is Mukha. And with those teeth, he could hold the bone, and the other things could be done. Today, if you go to the orthopedic surgery trolley table, when they are doing some bone surgeries, there is a surgical instrument called Ferguson's lion tooth forceps. It's nothing but copy of Simhamukhi by some guy called Ferguson from Great Britain, and it is even today used everywhere in all the operation theatres by orthopedic surgeons. There is an instrument he had created called Bhaga Yantra. Bhaga is the anus, Yantra and instrument. Today, if you go to any of these hemorrhoid treating general surgeons, proctologists, anorectal surgeons, the common instrument for quite some time has been proctoscope. Procto is there, and the scope is the scope. And it's a thin tube. It has got an obturator so that there is a blunt tip. You put some lubricant and you pass it inside, take out the obturator, and you can see the piles collapsing, etc. Actually, what the Bhaga Yantra described by Sushruta was actually more advanced to my mind, because it had 3 thin metallic flanges and an obturator. And when the obturator comes out, the flanges open. The hemorrhoids are usually at 3 different clock positions, and they would prolapse, and he would burn them up. Or today we do it by cryo. So all these things were so old. So the storytelling lesson is that we haven't really maintained our history, and we are repeating it, and somebody else from the Western world is repeating it for us. So, and that should enter our textbooks. I have been proposing our government of Karnataka to take a lead and create a Indian museum of Indian history of Indian medicine, where there is so much stuff can be collected across the country, curated, labeled, and it can become a great tourism spot. Instead of somebody in Delhi doing it, we could do it in Bangalore, and then it could become a nationally or internationally known center, because there's so much of history that has happened here. So I just told you once, this is just a droplet that I'm talking about, but I'm just trying to kindle something in your mind that what we can be very proud of, we have completely lost on it, and our present generation absolutely knows zero about it, and it's our job to rediscover and see that at least these generations are from their childhood made to learn and be proud about it. Thank you.
Our Ravi sir is very active towards that activity. Sir would like to give some light here.
Namaste to all. Madam, sir given the good opportunity for me to meet great peoples. Jawali sir and Prasad sir. retired but not tired. Sir is a good example. Sir is not 95, 59. Yes? Because of doing pranayama, you live young and energetic. No wrinkles, no pimples. Okay? Pranayama is the energy. Without food, we can live. Without water, we can live. Without breath, we can't live. They are a vital force. Lot of research are doing about pranayama. They are doing lot of techniques also. But fast breathing, your lifespan will be less. Deeper the breathing, your lifespan will be more. Dog, rabbit, they are fast breathing. Lifespan is less. The turtle is breathing very slow. It's living 300, 400, 500 years. We see in the magazine and newspapers. Patanjali given this pranayama, what Sir says, holding the breath. Shvasa, Nishvasa, Gatir Vichedaha. What you are breathing daily, inhaling, exhaling, stop the breathing. Vichedaha. Some Babas are teaching some pranayamas. We are practicing without our knowledge. That is not effective more, but some people it is effective. You are healthy, no, don't do that other pranayamas, Kapalbhati or Bhastrika. What Patanjali explains in pranayama, Bahya Abhyantara Stambhavrutti Vishayakshepi Chaturtha Pranayama. Only Patanjali teaches 4 pranayamas, that's all. This is very, very important. At least they should do these 2 pranayamas. Bahya Abhyantara Pranayam. All the diseases will be cured. You do yoga, you will never cure diseases. You do pranayama, even cancer. All the diseases will cure in these 2 pranayamas. If you do regularly this pranayama, then you go for that other 2 pranayamas. This is more effective in advance. I was practicing from 32 years. Kapalbhati, Bhastrika, Anulom, Vilom pranayamas. It is normal benefit, not more. From 2 years I am teaching, I am doing pranayama, only this 2 pranayama. Your hunger will be less, more energetic, more active, more benefit also. And today we learn only pranayama. But I am doing pranayama, sir. I am not doing diet. I am doing more exercises. No result, no benefit at all. Exercise also important, pranayama also important, diet also important. Therefore, Patanjali given that Ashtanga Yoga, Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. Asana, what we are doing the asana, somebody stick on the asanas, that's all. No pranayama, no meditation. Only asana. Asana is exercises. Patanjali will not teach any asanas. You do Shirshasana, you can't do pranayama. Stiram Sukham Asanam. Asana is the only one quotation. First sit in one posture. Either Sukhasana, either Ardha Padmasana, either Padmasana. Either what Sir says, Siddhasana. Because if you do pranayama without asana siddhi, you can't do pranayama. Because when you do pranayama, pain start in the joints, prana is gaya. Alva, if you are concentrating prana madadake, no good bandre, or prana bhakta tayal pranayama martira. So people will come, so doctor advice, you do pranayama, you will get a BP control, heart control. Huh? Okay, you will do pranayama, when do pranayama, they are not sitting at all. How to do pranayama? Therefore, asana siddhi is very important. Then pranayama is compulsory. ಡಯಟ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಡಯಟು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ನಾವು ಪ್ರಾಣಾಯಾಮ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಡಯಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೆರಿ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ಸರ್ವಜ್ಞ ಸೇಸ್, ಒಪ್ಪತ್ತುಂಡವ ಯೋಗಿ, ಎರಡೊತ್ತುಂಡವ ಭೋಗಿ, ಮೂರೊತ್ತುಂಡವ ರೋಗಿ, ನಾಲ್ಕೊತ್ತುಂಡವ ಎತ್ಕೊಂಡೋಗಿ ಅಂತ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಗೊತ್ತು ವೆರಿ ಗಾಡ್. From 2 years, now I am taking one time. I am fine, I am happy, I am healthy, I am active. My flexibility also increases. Why? Why? Because I am doing pranayama, I am take ghee. Doctor advice, don't take ghee, cholesterol, 100% correct. We select which ghee we'll have to take. That ghee is given a good result. You will not get here either Patanjali, either Ravi Shankar, either Sadhguru. These are all duplicate ghees. It will give the side effect, increase the cholesterol. You take good ghee, it will reduce your cholesterol, reduce your fat, even cancer also cure if you take original ghee. I am taking morning and night, even food also, I am fine. And diet. Diet is very important. You are doing yoga, teaching pranayama, sir. If you not do diet, no result in we are in pranayama also. Yes, sir. Non-veg is danger. Somebody teaching yoga, they teach, you take non-veg also. Fish, egg, everything. These are all heavy food. First avoid non-veg, egg, soya, all masalas, oils also. Somebody take refined oil, single refined, double refined, triple refined oils. Refined is very dangerous. Take groundnut oil, coconut oil, sesame oil, or til oil. These 4 oils are benefit for you. Other oils should not use. Ghee also very important. About diet. If you are get up in early morning, you drink this cold season, copper bowl water is good for your health. In summer season, take a silver bowl water. You put copper bowl water, put on gold coin or any small piece of gold also. That is very good for health. When you get up in the early morning, do some neck exercise, some other exercises. When you drink the water, your yogis, you sit in malasana, then you drink the water. Not drink the water, eat the water. Everyone drink the water. But eat the water. Drink the solid. You sit like this, drink the water sip by sip, mix with saliva little bit. It will give a good digestion. Unloading also very good, no constipation problem. Nowadays they are doing yoga also. They are very good loading, no unloading. ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಕೆಲವರಿಗೆ ಲೋಡಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಗೊತ್ತು, ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ತಿನ್ನೋದು ಗೊತ್ತು, ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರೋದು ತಿನ್ನೋದು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರೋದನ್ನು ತಿನ್ನಬೇಕು. Within 9 o'clock, finish your lunch, not breakfast, not tiffin. 8 to 9 o'clock. Before 1 hour, you drink that ghee. With boil the water. You want to reduce the weight, reduce the fat, take amla, put the amla powder, put little pink salt, boil it 3-4 minutes. We call it as amla tea. Then you put 1 spoon of ghee, mix it with the water, hot water after boiling. Don't put the boiling water, keep it in the cup, mix with 2 cups, 10 times, 20 times. Then you drink, eat that tea, sip by sip. If you get heavy lunch, you not get hungry in the afternoon. After food, compulsory take soap. Soap ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಹೋಟೆಲನ್ನು ತಿಂತೀವಿ, ಮನೇಲಿ ತಿನ್ನೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾರು ಫ್ಯಾಟ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು, ವೆಯ್ಟ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಫ್ಯಾಟ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಕೆಲವರು ವೆಯ್ಟ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ವೆಯ್ಟ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಫ್ಯಾಟ್ ಇರೋದು ತೆಗಿಬೇಕು ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಫ್ಯಾಟ್ ರಿಮೂವ್ ಆದರೆ ವೆಯ್ಟ್ ಲಾಸ್ ತಾನೇ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Afternoon, if you feel hungry, take buttermilk or fruit. But buttermilk ತಗೋಬೋದು, coconut water ತಗೋಬೋದು. Fruit also, not mixed fruit salad, one type of fruit. You take 2 bananas, 3 bananas, 4 bananas, one type of fruit. Again evening, before sunset, 1 hour before you take the tiffin, breakfast, light food. ಆದಷ್ಟು ಸಂಜೆ ಹೊತ್ತು ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಸನ್ಸೆಟ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು, ಮೆಡಿಸಿನ್ ತಗೋಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾವಾಗ 1 ಅವರ್ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ನೀವು ಫುಡ್ ತಗೊಳ್ತೀರಾ, ಮೆಡಿಸಿನ್ನು, ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್, ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟಲ್ಸ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಹೋಗೋಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು ಹೆಲ್ತಿಯಾಗಿರ್ತೀರ, ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತೀರ. ಈ ಡಯಟು ಮತ್ತು ಈ ಪ್ರಾಣಾಯಾಮ ನೀವು ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಈವನ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸರ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಕ್ಯೂರ್. ಹೌದಲ್ಲ? Again, after 3 hours of gap, after evening your dinner, then you take ghee, 9 o'clock or 9:30 again. This season some other Ayurvedic powders are there, you take that type, you can consult, I tell you. Amla powder you can take, make amla tea after 3 hours of dinner, again put 1 spoon of ghee, mix it and drink. It will detox the body, it will give more benefit for you. Okay, first change your lifestyle. Diet also, after morning lunch, what we are taking, morning breakfast, night lunch. Nowadays see the hotels, they are taking lot of junk foods, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock also. This will give a lot of problems in the life. Okay, thank you so much. I take more time. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
So, thank you very much. Dr. Ron, Dr. Jawali, and it has been a very nice time. I would also request Madam to please speak a few words. You can also speak up. Social activists. But at least you tell us something, some 2 good sentences we want to learn from you. Okay.
Hi everyone, it's been such a pleasure spending the morning with all of you. So 25 years ago, I learned yoga and pranayam from my uncle, Dr. Prahlad Ron, and I've never looked back. So every day in the morning, I'm in a corporate job. As most of you know, life is very stressful, and in fact, life is not stressful. We take a lot of stress when we shouldn't. So my motto is, every time I get up in the morning, I do not even look at my phone, I don't look at my laptop. I first spend my 1.5 hours for myself, which is either I go for a run or a walk, come back, do yoga, and then do some pranayam. And I found that over the last few years, this has helped me greatly. And I have tried to encourage a lot of my colleagues also to adopt this lifestyle that, Dr. P.H. Ron, Dr. Jawali, and our teacher has taught us that we should come back to what we are losing in this century. We have to come back to that life. And I found that this was very, very helpful in the most difficult period, which was the COVID, the 3 or 4 years of COVID, where I found that for me, it was lucky. I mean, they came to visit us in the US and they got stuck because they couldn't go back to India. But it was a blessing in disguise. I'm not even joking. It was such a blessing in disguise because, Asha, my aunt, she every day, she was keeping the spirit alive by doing puja every day at 7 o'clock. So, and every day, I used to do yoga with him 1 hour, 5:30 to 6:30. And she used to make sure that all of us do puja at 7 o'clock. And that helped us a lot because Nitin was going out as a doctor, he had to go out, right? And every day he was going out, we were praying that he comes back safe and he tries to save the lives of many people. And that was the time, during those times, when we didn't have any other entertainment like going out to movies, going out to hotels. I realized that, there are so many other things in life that are so much important. And this, coming back to what we have lost, that was such an important thing, that connection that yoga and pranayam gives you between your body and mind. I realized it when I was talking to a lot of my colleagues who were very nervous, anxious, and I wasn't feeling that way. Why? Because she was helping us with the prayers every day, and he was, we were doing yoga every day for an hour. And that kept me grounded, that kept me healthy. And I found that it also helped me become very, very creative. So whenever I talk to my colleagues at work, they all say one thing, right? They say, our lives are so busy. Where can I find time? I don't have time. So I will say this, and I'm sure you already are finding time, that's why you are all here. But I always say to all my colleagues, I say that when you want to, don't try to find the balance. You will need to create it. So with that one thought, I leave you all, and thank you again.
One more, on that COVID, I take some free classes. For COVID time, I will not take any injection. Because of doing yoga and pranayama. A lot of people scared, a lot of people will fear. I will take any vaccines. That is the effect of pranayama and daily doing yoga.
Madam would like to say something.
Namaste. I met Prahlad uncle. We are running one Om Shantidama Veda Pathshala and the Veda Pathshala ide. We are running it since 32 years and multiple batches have come out. Uncle, I met there in Veda Pathshala. It's a great blessing. I don't know God is there or no, but such people are godly figure. And I am really thankful, and knowing Prahlad uncle and understanding learning, we all are blessed. It's a very, very special human being we all are knowing today, and always we want to know.
Let us all give a big applaud. Standing applaud.
So, I think we are towards the end of the program because it is being a working day. You all must be busy. But one important thing I would like to inform all of you, it's a very, very unique combination today over here. Dr. Ron is a very long career he had with science and atomic energy. I met him as a young boy way back in 1983. Okay? So when I was developing some important thing for the Agni missile warheads as a nuclear engineer, and then I met him, and we have a long association ever since. So his contribution has been great, and please note one thing, I don't know, many of you are very young, you may not be knowing, but you all should know Homi Jahangir Bhabha, father of the Indian nuclear program. Okay? So Dr. Ron is right now in front of us, and he has worked with Homi Bhabha. So whenever I come across him in any kind of public function, I always tell him to tell his experience, which maybe later on he will tell you with great people like Homi Bhabha. It's unbelievable. See, today you have to understand that such people, you will never get them, and just I am totally impressed by his simple modesty. I have also worked with Dr. Kalam, modesty. So I would only like to tell everybody that one method of becoming great in life and becoming close to God is simplicity and modesty. So, anybody wants to say anything? So with this, I think we can end the program. And you are planning to have a workshop later on?
Yes, that let me introduce.
So, Dr. Ron has happily agreed that whatever pranayam he has shown in small clips, that he can teach us in depth. and he is ready to organize. If we can organize workshop for that. How many days you will take, sir, for that? How many hours? 3 hours. So either 1 hour every day or 3 hours at a stretch. 3 hours at a stretch. Are you ready to learn from him new techniques of pranayam? Who is willing? Just raise your hand. It will be really lifetime achievement. This will be real lifetime achievement.
3 hours.
3 hours.
If you are right.
Do you have 3 hours? Or would you be busy in preparing breakfast? You have to drop your child to school, or you have to work. Huh? Choice is yours. Huh? This 3 hours, or keep preparing breakfast, keep dropping child to school. Okay. Now.
It's a great opportunity actually. I will learning from you. When you go to US, wives will be waiting for uncle, Whole day you will be taking the session. Here,
So, I think he has to leave for Bombay on the 18th. Before that, it has to be done. So you can plan accordingly. And which would be a good day? Non-working day, maybe on a Saturday or so. Okay. So I think maybe Saturday or something you can plan.
Saturday or Sunday? Saturday, raise your hands. Okay, fine. Sundays? Saturday will be better. We'll organize on Saturdays. Okay. Thank you all. So, just do.
Just 1 second, please. 1 second. You will be surprised. You will be really surprised. I got a message. I just got a message from a gentleman. They are sitting over here only, that person. He is interested in your 60 books. He is interested in buying from you 60 books. And he also told me in Amazon only one is available. Yes. So this way you can see there is a lot of demand, and I am very sure with oxygen and pranayam everything will go very good. Thank you very much, sir. And doctor, I am very grateful to you. And Ravi sir, thanks. Thank you.
Hello. There is a refreshment outside. Please go and take and take it. So there is small snacks arranged outside. Please, all of you go out and take. Mr. Praveen, please come forward.